श्रीशैलेशदया पात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामम् श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च मादाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् वेदान्तदेशिककटाक्षविवृद्धबोधं कान्तोपयन्त्रयमिनः करुणैकपात्रं वत्सान्ववायम् अनवद्यगुणैरुपेतं भक्त्या भजामि परवादिभयङ्करार्यम् श्रीविद्या जी लक्ष्मी निवासिनिरवद्य गुणैक सिंधो
लक्ष्मी निवास निरवध्य गुणैक सिंधो लक्ष्मी निवास निरवध्य गुणैक सिंधो
संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो
संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो
वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य
वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य
श्री वेंकटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्
श्री वेंकटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् लक्ष्मी निवास निरवध्य गुणैक सिंधो संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य श्री वेंकटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् लक्ष्मी निवास निरवध्य गुणैक सिंधो संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य श्री वेंकटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्।
रघु इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम् रघु
इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम् इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम्
ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः
ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः
तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजाम्
तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजाम् तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजाम्
प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते
प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम् ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजाम् प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम् ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजाम् प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते.
Very nice. Kalpaka, chant 28, 29 once and we'll go to the meaning. Kalpaka? Kalpaka, you're there?
ஆம் மகோதய.
28, 29 ஒரு தடவை chant பண்ணு.
लक्ष्मी निवास निरवध्य गुणैक सिंधो संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य श्री वेंकटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम् ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजां प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते.
Very nice. Usually the last verse is chanted twice, right? Itham
लक्ष्मी निवास निरवध्य गुणैक सिंधो संसार सागर समुत्तरणैक सेतो वेदांत वेद्य निज वैभव भक्त भोग्य श्री वेंकटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् इत्थं वृषाचलपतेरिह सुप्रभातम् ये मानवाः प्रतिदिनं पठितुं प्रवृत्ताः तेषां प्रभातसमये स्मृतिरङ्गभाजां प्रज्ञां परार्थसुलभां परमां प्रसूते.
Very nice. Lakshmi Nivasa Niravadya Gunaika Sindho Rama Samsara Sagara Samuttaranika Seto Vedanta Vedya Nija Vaibhava Bhakta Bhogya Sri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. Lakshmi Nivasa Sri Nivasa. The Balaji Venkateswara is also called Sri Nivasa or Lakshmi Nivasa because that is where she lives. Her the address where she lives gets the name of, so he gets the name based on where she lives. Okay. So because Lakshmi is there, he is called Lakshmi Nivasa or Sri Nivasa. And so that particular word Srinivasa indicates the glory of Devi, glory of Ambal Pirati. Because of her he obtains the glory, the auspiciousness, the Kalyana Guna that is spoken about is because of her, because she is the embodiment of auspiciousness, and because she resides in him, he gets the glory. So towards the end, when he is closing, Prativadi Bhayankaramanna is trying to bring our attention to that
I think next sloka is about that, whatever you are saying.
Next shloka is about
Whatever you are saying.
Itham Vrishachalapate.
No. After this, Ishanam Jagadosya Venkatapati.
Oh, the next one after that. Okay.
After this sloka, whatever you are explaining is that sloka's exact meaning is that.
Okay. So here, I think for the Suprabhatam alone, 29 verses where he is ending, he is trying to bring the unity of Lakshmi and Narayana, Lakshmi Narayana. So he's trying to say that where she exists, that is Narayana is present. So if you look at it this way, uh, because Lakshmi exists in a certain place, you will find Narayana. See, what happens is, like I think we spoke about something similar. Um, wherever a king goes, wherever a king goes, that becomes his kingdom, right? If a king goes to a place with his retinue, with his subjects, with his whole jingbang, he goes around and he goes and sets that place up, that becomes the um, that becomes that becomes the palace, or that becomes the center or the Rajadhani. See, like for example, in the US, they do this, right? The president goes to Capitol Hill. There's another place where he goes to rest and relax, etc. So it's a little further from the White House. White House is the capital, but he goes elsewhere. But when he shifts, when the president goes, all his key members go there with him, and now they'll say that it's been shifted to that place. The presidency has been shifted, or the presidency has moved, right? In the same way, when you do an Utsava Murti, when you take a Utsava Murti, at that time they don't do anything to the Mulava. When the Utsava is out, Mulavar Kapo, they won't do anything, because they're saying the Utsava, when Perumal is moving in the form of the Utsava, Perumal is there in the Utsava Murti. So in that sense, wherever Lakshmi goes, that is Lakshmi Nivasa, or that is Srinivasa. Which means who's Srinivasa? Narayana. So where Lakshmi goes, Narayana is there automatically. It is to indicate in that way. So you don't have to separately call out to them. If Shri is bestowing her grace upon you, then Narayana's grace is also there. It's a certain, it is a way of looking at, because a lot of times these are seen as separate principles. Instead of seeing them as separate principles, it is two facets of a principle, and when you're invoking one and one is available, it's like saying Lakshmi Katakshama irukku. There is, you see Mangalam, or you see auspiciousness or Lakshmi Kataksham in something, it means the grace of Narayana is already there. Why? Just by the presence of Lakshmi there, Narayana has been brought there. Because why? He is Srinivasa. Wherever she is doing her Nivasa, he is also there. Right? So, Lakshmi Nivasa Niravadya Gunaika Sindho. Niravadya means he is blemishless. And Gunaika Sindho, Guna Eka Sindho. Blemish, Niravadya means to have no blemish. And Guna Eka Sindho. He is a single ocean, is an ocean of all gunas. He is an ocean of all gunas, and he is blemishless, which means these gunas that are there in him are, you cannot find fault in those gunas. They are complete. The gunas are complete in the way they are. Niravadya Gunaika Sindho. You're an ocean of compassion, ocean of love, ocean of joy, ocean of kindness. All of that. He is the ocean of all of that. And he is Guna Eka Sindho, which means he is a single ocean. He is one and only. I was watching this Life on the Planet in Netflix. And it is interesting to note that although we see or say that there are different oceans, right? There is Indian Ocean, there is Pacific Ocean, there's Atlantic, there is Arctic, etc. And they seem to be separated by the mass of land. But the interesting thing is, this mass of land is on the ocean. And underneath, all oceans are actually one. Literally, the whole, if you see the earth, the the whole surface is covered with water completely, and there are patches of land on it. Which means you can actually practically, if you are able to go underneath the mass of land, you can connect all the oceans together. All waters are the same. Literally the same. It's not not same. They're actually one. It's same means idu madri adu, this is like that. It's not same. It is one. There is no difference between the water in Indian Ocean and the water in Pacific Ocean. It appears as two because there is land on top of it, which seems to uh, differentiate the two. But underneath, it's one. And this is something that is not in our experience, because we are on the surface. It's very Vedanta type of an idea here, right? It's a very Vedantic idea. At the surface of the surface of the Avasthatraya, the surface of the Panchakosha, at the surface of our Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, etc., these appear different. The Jivatmas, the individuals, all of that appear different. And when they say the Atma is same, my Atma, his Atma, the Atma of animals, everything, Atma is same, is an incomplete representation. Atma is not same, Atma is one. See, this is a very this is something that has to be really meditated upon. To say Atma is one, because I don't experience Atma as one. I experience different people, different entities. I experience the prapancha, the whole world I experience as different objects. But when we literally are able to experience the underlying consciousness as one, not as same. That is the difference between representing, say, I am pure consciousness, you are pure consciousness, he is pure consciousness. We are all one consciousness only. You see, it sounds very talking about universality, unity, and all of that, right? It just sounds like a cliched term. It may sound like a cliched term, but in reality, if we actually look at it, say electricity, will we ever say that American electricity, Russian electricity, Ukrainian electricity? Electricity is one. Whether electricity is generated through nuclear power or it is generated through through windmill or through water mill, whatever, however you generate electricity, electricity is electricity. So this particular sense that at the end of the day, that which is driving this whole experience within is exactly the same in every living being and everything. It is just it is that particular consciousness is only presenting itself differently in all of these things differently. The Jiddu Krishnamurti presents it differently. Jiddu Krishnamurti goes and says that we are all one because our problems are one, our sufferings are one, our joys are the same, one. We all experience, our experiences are one. When I come and hit, when I hit a little boy versus I hit a little girl versus I hit a little older man, I hit somebody, the suffering is still the same. Like we say, if an ant is suffering and a big mountain of a man is suffering, it's the same. because the experience of suffering is the same. If an ant is suffering trying to carry a small grain of sugar, that is a big task for it. So what the ant does for its constrained form, so it's very difficult to say my suffering is bigger than yours. My I am facing more difficulties than you, or same thing with joy also. My joy, your joy. There is, I mean, if you think about it, there is nothing like that really. It is just joy. It is just suffering. It is just compassion. It is just love. Because you cannot differentiate. How do you know what is the love that somebody else is experiencing? How do you know what it is? You will never know what love. When someone comes and says, I love this so much, I love that so much, and you are saying, I love something else so much, how do you know the difference between which love? What? You can't. You can't. You Because love, what you're feeling, how will you translate to what somebody else is feeling? It is extremely um, um, I think it's just that we somehow are so differentiated in our experience of the world that this becomes so very. I'm sorry, I see only Mama is only on video. If one or two of you all also come on to video, it'll be nice. Can few of you also come on video? Yeah. Thank you, Ma. Thanks. So this experience of oneness, when you say Gunaika Sindho, we have to understand that this uh, oneness that is there, we are not experiencing similarities it is not similarities, it is one only. We will never be able to quantify my joy and your joy. So your joy is this much, my joy is this much. So my joy is greater than your joy, or my difficulty or my suffering is greater than your difficulty or suffering. We will not be able to differentiate and quantify that, because at the end of the day, it is just that. It is just joy. It is just suffering. It is just uh, it's just that experience that you have, and that experience cannot be differentiated. In the same way, consciousness cannot be differentiated. When we look at when you close your eyes and you sit and you meditate and you feel, now you've withdrawn yourself from your senses. Remember that what you're experiencing as a self is the same principle that is pulsating in somebody else. It's the same principle that is operating in another person. Now when you get into this, naturally there'll be love and compassion that will come from your heart, right? See, imagine the greatest, your worst, how do I say, the person you hate the most, you dislike the most, the person you dislike the most, for example, is somebody like that. And when you sit and meditate and you bring your mind to that, you bring your chitta to that ekagrata, you bring to that single pointedness, and then you experience, okay, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm this shining self that I am. And then you think this particular thing is also shining from that person I hate. It's basically like saying I drink water from the same well from where the person I hate is also drinking water. So this experience is something that we need to re-establish, because the world constantly gives us an experience of differentiation. Right? It constantly makes us go separate. It identifies individuals as individuals and tries to keep us separate. So once this sets in, now imagine this is the state of the Mahatmas or saints, the way they lived. They lived in this state of complete oneness. Of course, this is Transactionally, you have to transact individually, right? It's not something like saying, okay, உனக்கு பசிக்கிறதா நான் சாப்பிட்டுடுறேன். I can't say that. ரொம்ப பசிக்கிறதா, don't worry, I'll go have a full meals now. Doesn't work that way, right? This at a transaction level, we are definitely having to, we have to deal with this individually and independently, individually. But at an essence, at an experience level, we need to understand everybody else is the same. Somebody is going through suffering. Even the person you hate the most is going through suffering. Suffering is suffering, no? This is what Buddha experienced, right? He could experience the suffering of the world. There are people who had differences of opinions. His own cousin brother had hatred towards him, Devadatta, or stepbrother. But suffering is suffering, no? Now, when we get this, then there is, when this rises in the heart a little bit, what do you think will be the next thing naturally that will come in our heart? It's compassion, karuna. That is the only thing that can come, right? And then forgiving, being angry with somebody. You don't have to teach somebody to don't be angry, be forgiving. You don't have to teach those things. Once this thing is there, then naturally what will arise will be compassion in the heart. And not compassion because you're telling, I want to be greater, I am bigger, so I forgive you. You're not going into those things. It is just pure compassion. Why? Because you've recognized that this is one. It is one. There is this distinction is only transactional. And then when you see everything that everybody does makes sense. Because nobody does anything to suffer, right? Everybody does something or the other to feel good, to feel happy, to feel joyful, to get name, get fame, get acknowledgement, get recognition. That's why they're doing that. Or to protect themselves. All their act is essentially for that only. And so when we recognize that, then you see that whatever everybody is doing, it's correct only. And this is why Mahangal Gatalam Pona, they will not judge anybody. You go to Mahatmas, they will not judge anyone. Why? Because everybody is right from their perspective. Because at the end of the day, what they're trying to achieve is joy, peace, happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment. This is what. But the way they're trying to do may harm others. That is what then he will help and say that don't do it this way, because what you're doing, you may be doing with what you are wanting these things, joy, happiness, peace, fulfillment. But you're stepping on somebody else. You're hurting someone. You're creating disharmony. That is where you need to explain to this person. But then that explanation also doesn't come from a point of judgment. It comes from a point of compassion. Why? Because when you're doing things that you think, I want joy, I want happiness, and you're stepping on somebody, what is happening in the process is you're creating karma unknowingly that is going to hurt you back. So out of that compassion, you're wanting to tell that person, or the saint will guide, saying, don't do it this way, because eventually you're going to hurt yourself. You are wanting joy, peace, happiness, satisfaction only. But the method you've adopted, it seems like it may rebound back and cause you harm, because unknowingly you're causing harm to someone. Now, so this is important. When actions spring out of compassion, actions spring out of that feeling that nobody is wrong. We don't have to see the world as right or wrong. This is the big issue that we have, right? If somebody's got to be right, if they're not right, then it's wrong. Or something's happened that is not right, then somebody has got to be wrong for this to happen this way. For something to have happened in a certain way, somebody's got to be wrong. This is the way the mind processes it. Because you cannot imagine that things just happen. It's difficult to recognize that things just happen. My daughter has something to say in this matter. அப்பா பண்ற தப்பெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இப்படி பேசுறிய அப்படின்னா. No, but then important thing is we've trained our mind. So I'm also training my daughter that way. So important thing is to be able to Hariyam chalala rakho. The important thing is from young we have to train ourselves to be able to not see the world as right or wrong, or events that have happened to me as right or wrong. It's an event, avladhan. Dogs and cats don't see it that way, right? The other animals that are living, they don't see it that way as right or wrong. Something harmful has happened to me, that's fine, I deal with this. Now how do I deal with this? But what happens is we've somehow, so socially we've been trained to think that somebody's got to have done something wrong for this to happen to me. Then we look for someone to blame, and then if that blame we are not able to place it on somebody, then we blame ourselves or we blame our stars. So you have to shift. So blame, something has to be blamed. The way the mind functions is, this is the way the mind functions, and we have to be very watchful. We say that, oh, then my stars are not right. Oh, ஜாதகம் சரியில்லை, நான் பிறந்த வேலை சரியில்லை, என்னோட போன ஜன்மத்தோட கர்மா சரியில்லை, whatever. Somewhere we have to find a meaning to slot in to say that because of this. Why? Because we are always wanting to figure out or find the cause for that disharmony or suffering that we have. If we are so very desperate to find the cause of suffering, we should go like Buddha then, right? Go and really find out what is the cause of suffering. We are not wanting to find the cause of suffering. We are wanting to find out who to blame for my suffering. So then that is the state of suffering we are in, right? It causes us more suffering. So he's saying Guna Eka Sindho. Guna Eka Sindho is like a singular ocean, single. So why I'm stressing upon this whole single thing is because the moment when we introspect and we are able to bring this concept in our heads, in our minds, in our hearts, then the actions that we do spring from nothing else but compassion. It will only spring from compassion. And compassion is not a weakness, it is a great understanding. It's a great understanding. Okay. Gayatri, Jyotsna every day comes from school with the same right or wrong question. I know. We have to slowly
நேத்து
develop
கேக்குறா
that with kids. It's
நேத்து
difficult.
கேக்குறா எல்லாரும் தீபிகா படுகோன் செலிபிரிட்டிஸ் எல்லாம் அது பண்றா இது பண்றா இன்ஸ்டாகிராம்ல ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு என்கிட்ட வந்து கேக்குறா, உனக்கு இது கூட தெரியாதான்னு கேக்குறா. அது ரைட்டா ராங்கான்னு கேட்டா. அவ கிரேட் 5 தான் படிக்கிறா. இப்ப இந்த கொஸ்டின் வந்திருக்கு. சேம். இது ரைட்டா ராங்கா? அவ செய்யறது ரைட்டா இல்ல நான் செய்யறது ராங்கா?
ஆமா, அது கஷ்டம். The problem, this right and wrong in all of these cases are very, very contextual, right? It's not right or wrong. It's about where you belong. Where you belong. If she was going to a patashala in Tirupati, for example, right? This question will not be there in her mind, or even people around. They wouldn't be asking this question. Because she's in a school in Dubai, this is a question. So context also matters in terms of what, and these are all social things, right? What I am talking about is fundamentally. Socially, there may be things, oh, okay, now if I'm crossing the traffic light, is it right or wrong? Breaking a red light. It's wrong because it can cause harm to somebody. And I say, no, there's nobody at the night and nobody is seeing and I can cross. So there is a certain moral and a social discipline that you got to maintain. So that is why these moral codes are there of right or wrong. But what we are talking about is judging somebody. When you're judging somebody, that is where this question of right or wrong, or when you are suffering, we try to pin it on something to say that it is wrong, it is right, wrong, so on and so forth. Now, this way of thinking is what we need to figure out. Transactionally, of course, there are things that you need to be socially relevant. To be socially relevant, you've got to have some context of right, wrong, and how do you move about in this world. To be socially relevant, if it matters, right? In the space that you are in. Because these questions are very different in different contexts, right? Like, for example, there was a movie I was seeing. Kavita was watching this during December. It's a wonderful movie of where this Norwegian girl, a girl from Norway, falls in love with an Indian guy and takes the Indian guy to their place in Norway during Christmas. And the traditions that they have during Christmas is so very contextual. They believe, and he goes to say that, there are children and all, and he goes to say, oh, Santa Claus is just a fairy tale character. And like everybody's like, what? Is it right to say that or wrong? So he's saying the right thing, but in the wrong place, right? Because traditionally and culturally, they've been, they are in this, that there is a Santa Claus, there is something like this. There's a beautiful things happen during December, Christmas, during, there are magical things happen and all that. And you're going and breaking that. So we got to have that sense. But what we are saying is also in terms of not causing disharmony, right? So sometimes it's okay to say something which may not be accurate, but you're not wanting to cause disharmony, and it's all right, because your intention is what? Your intention is not to cause disharmony. That's the intention. And if you have the larger purpose in mind, we understand that and we move, right? We interact and engage. But the more important thing is, how do you look at somebody? When you look at somebody, you engage, you judge someone. Is this something that is primary in your mind? Is this something that you process, right? That is important. So guna eka sindho. Then
See,
samsara sorry.
Guruji, the mind on it takes sides, yeah, and it takes sides based on some of our experiences. இப்போ ஒருத்தரை ஜட்ஜ் பண்றதுன்னா அதோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வச்சுட்டு அந்த மைண்ட் வந்து இட் டேக் சைட்ஸ் இந்த மாதிரி அந்த மாதிரி இல்லையா? So
absolutely, because we know that this person, how many other times I am compassionate, that person is nasty.
அந்த சமயத்துல வந்து மைண்ட் if it does not take sides and thinks clearly, that experience also will be negated, or probably it will be changed, or the experience may not be counted at all sometimes. Yeah.
No, the fear of that experience repeating is what we are worried about. It is not the experience itself. The experience may have been something, maybe you had a bad experience. Now what we are worried about is the fear of that experience repeating again. That fear is what is causing us to judge. And judging somebody is right from a survival standpoint. It is not wrong. See, if a rat or a mouse does not judge that a snake that's coming there is going to bite me, if it doesn't make that judgment, then it will just stand there and it will get eaten up. So for survival, it's important to be able to look at the world and say, yes, this is the place. See, this person is nasty, so I don't want to go. Right? But that judgment of nastiness is not coming from a place of hatred. You understand what I'm saying? He is nasty because his life experiences have been in a certain way. That person has dealt with so much of negativity, maybe from childhood, that he has lost the sense of trust, the sense of love. Nobody has loved that person. Maybe nobody has shown that person that you can be trusted. And he's always been betrayed in his life. And then he'll turn out to be a negative individual. So what I mean by compassion is to recognize that even though he is nasty, but that nastiness comes from a certain place.
Exactly. அதான் சொல்ல வரேன். See, நம்ம வந்து முக்காவாசி நம்ம அந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வச்சு the mind immediately takes sides. I think we have to come out of that mind taking sides and think what makes him to behave like this.
Correct.
So is there a problem because of which he is behaving like that, and because of which I am experiencing that he is a
Hmm.
nice person?
Perfect. Absolutely right. Absolutely. And we may not know the reason why he is behaving this way. We wouldn't know. We possibly may never know. But to understand, there must be an understanding inside saying that there must be something because of why he is behaving this way. Like Gandhiji said, there is innate goodness in everybody. It is just your ability to tap that goodness. See, that nasty person is good with maybe at least 2 people in the world. Right. Let's take another 15 minutes if it's okay today, and we'll close. If it's all right with all. So
To do
that's
next sloka. Okay.
yeah. I'm saying we'll take another 15 minutes and finish off the next sloka also today. So we'll complete the Suprabhatam today. So this Ratnakara Daku was a terror to everybody, but to his wife and his kids and his mother and father, he was loved because he would bring food. He will possibly, he will mix the food and give it to his daughter, feed the daughter. On the other side, he will go chop off heads, terrorizing people. Now, what causes him to do that? We don't know. We don't know what the cause of somebody's way of acting is, the way they see the world. The way we see the world is conditioned by our experiences. Likewise, the way that person is seeing the world is conditioned by his experiences, maybe in this lifetime, maybe the previous lifetime. We don't know. But to understand that something has made that person to be in this way. And when you recognize that, we may not know the meaning, or we may not know the reason, but we definitely know there is something. Now, when this is a way of thinking, see, you understand what's happening here. It's a way of thinking that there is possibly something that's happened to this person that is making him behave this way. Now, the moment we start thinking this way, again, what will come? First thing that will come in your heart is compassion. Because originally, he wasn't like this originally. He's probably become like this due to situation. That is the way the mind will now start thinking. And which is true. Originally, Amritasya Putraha. Shvetasvatara Upanishad makes the statement. We are all Amritasya Putraha. We are all immortal beings. No sins. We don't carry Anavadya, blemishless. Anavadya Gunaika Sindhoho. We are all Anavadya in that way. There are no blemish. There is no sin that sticks onto us. Our experiences condition us to see the world in a certain way. Now, what happens when I see somebody like this? What will happen is nature will start making people around me to see me compassionately. This will happen. This is the way of the world. This is the way nature works. When I start developing compassion in me, then you will see how people around you will slowly feel that compassion towards you. Because you're exuding compassion and love, the world will do that to you. So, Lakshmi Nivasa Niravadya Gunaika Sindho Samsara Sagara Samuttaranika Seto. He's saying Samsara Sagara Samuttaranika Seto. You are Gunaika Sindho, you are Uttaranaika Seto. You are the one who is going to help me cross the bridge of the Samsara Sagara. You alone are the one. Eka Seto. Setu means bridge. You alone are that one bridge that will help me take me across Samsara Sagara. And you alone are that ocean of bliss. See, look at this. On one line, he is called as Guna Eka Sindho. Sindho is an ocean. And the second line is saying Samsara Sagara Samuttarana Eka Seto. So the first line, the ocean that is referred to is the ocean of bliss and joy. The second line, the ocean is indicated, Samsara Sagara is the ocean of this samsara. So which means it's the same ocean. The same ocean can be burdensome. The same ocean can become bliss. The same ocean can be suffering, the same ocean can be joy. The same ocean can be muddy water, the same ocean can be nectar, because it's the same. Sindho Sagara. You see that? It's very beautifully positioned in that two verses. Lakshmi Nivasa Niravadya Gunaika Sindho. You are the singular Kalyana Guna, ocean of Kalyana Gunas, beauty, bliss, joy, etc. And this Samsara Sagara, this Sagara or Samsara, Bhava Sagara, you help me take me across this. And where is it? He's not going to take you somewhere else. Bhagavan is not taking you somewhere else. This Vaikuntha is not somewhere else. He's going to make you experience Vaikuntha here. Vedanta Vedya Nija Vaibhava Bhakta Bhogya. Those who understand Vedanta understand you. Those who understand you understand Vedanta. The ones who are well versed in Vedanta Vedya, the ones who are the Vedyas of Vedanta, the ones who understand Vedanta, they are one who understand you. They are Bhakta Bhogya. They are your Bhaktas. As I said, if we really understand Vedanta well, we cannot but be a devotee. The greatest Vedantin is the greatest Bhakta. And the greatest Bhakta is the greatest Vedantin. Why? Because you have understood this Ekasindho. You have understood that the whole thing is a singular strain of consciousness that is there. You've understood this whole thing is operating as it's like a single pulsating body. Imagine this whole universe. These are various visualizations that we can use. This whole universe is just the body of Paramatma, just pulsating like this. And we are like the small dots here. They're just pulsating. Right? If we imagine this way, imagine everything, we're just part of that whole cosmic creation, and everything is pulsating. Now suddenly you become a part of the whole. You're suddenly part of this whole creative matrix or creation that is there. You're just part of that whole thing. And you're not the small individual that will say, oh, okay, let me go out and come back. No, where do you go out? This whole creation is his body. So it's just pulsating. So you visualize this way, what it does to us. It provides us this platform to recognize that, yes, it's all one. In the simplest scale, to think about this, you can think that if there is a tree outside your house, we say this, right? You breathe out, the tree is breathing in. The tree is breathing out, you're breathing in. There is instant connection there. You cannot exist as an individual. You cannot. When your body burns, you know that. When the body drops and burns, you know you're back to. There is no material in the body that will just stick out saying that, oh, it is not able to. Of course, bones stay much longer. It doesn't mean that it's still part of the earth. Right? It's just condensed calcium, but then it'll dissolve too. So recognize that, and then what happens to you? The body drops and falls, and what happens to you? You're part of that, this whole cosmic, this principle, right? This mass, homogeneous mass that is there. You're just one thing that is just going, and then it's part of this whole thing. That's it. So why is this recognition important constantly? Is because the world constantly creates individual differentiations. The moment I'm out of the satsang, my name is called out, then my skill is put to use, my relationships are reminded to me, my my friends come, the people I don't like call, all of these things happen the moment I'm outside the satsang, because individuality is thrust upon us. But the more and more we do these kinds of meditations and visualizations within us, the less impact, because we have to carry that effect after, from a satsang. If I If I go out and start behaving nastily, there's something wrong, right? I have not received the right things. I have not got the right experience. So when I go out, at least நீங்க ஜென்ரலா நீங்க பார்த்தாலும் you would have experienced, those who have done meditation, etc. When you finish meditation, you go, you feel like you want to be calm, silent, quiet, not speak anybody. You feel like that. And then in people in your household will say that porum porum. Normal idea, odimba. Because for them this is normal, right? For them means, what I'm saying is that at that time they are not able to associate with the state you are in, which feels calm, peaceful, nice, blissful, undisturbed. So this we practice this constantly. We practice this so that this becomes your way of life. This becomes it becomes integrated into the way we see life. Shri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. Itham Vrishachalapate Riha Suprabhatam Ye Manama Pratidinam Patitum Pravrittaha Tesham Prabhata Samaye Smriti Ranka Bhajam Prajnam Parartha Sulabham Paramam Prasute. So he ends this whole thing saying that Vedanta Vedya Nija Vaibhava Bhakta Bhogya. So those who understand you, O Lord, they have understood what is Vedanta. And those who are going the path of Vedanta, if they've understood Vedanta right, then they understand you, O Lord. So he's saying the essence of Vedanta is you. You are the essence of Vedanta. And you, Vedanta means what? Vedanta is not this topic. Oh, these are 5 books of Vedanta. Not like that. Vedanta means Vedasya Antaha, the culmination of all knowledge. Veda is knowledge. Antaha is culmination. Where all knowledge comes, the essence of all knowledge comes to. Culmination of all knowledge. The Paravidya. All the Aparavidya put together. Even the Upanishads are Aparavidya. Adi Shankara says this. Upanishads are Aparavidya because it is a text. The actual experience of it is Paravidya. If you don't experience the Upanishad, that which the Upanishad is pointing to, it just remains as a pointer. And a pointer is only Aparavidya. You can keep quoting it 100 times. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran, Nibodhata. Your Vivekananda said, all of these things we can say, but those are only pointers in our head. If that experience doesn't occur, that experience is Paravidya. And he says that is Vedanta. And that is the one who knows this, or one who understands Venkateswara in this form. And then he says, every day, if you remember this, Itham Vrishachalapate Riha Suprabhatam. Itham Vrishachalapate Riha Suprabhatam. In the mornings, when at the times of waking, when you are able to Ye Manama Pratidinam Patitum Pravrittaha. If you make this as a regular practice of waking up in a beautiful way. Tesham Prabhata Samaye Smriti Ranga Bhajam. In your mind, you bring this. Smriti is memory. Okay? Smriti means memory. So, what is memory? Memory is always brought consciously. And with you worship with Anga, Smriti Anga Bhajam. Consciously with your mind and your body. You do Bhajam. Bhajam means Bhajate. You worship. Who Tesham Prabhata Samaye. Those, the morning time, who worship Venkateswara in this way. Prajnam Parartha Sulabham Paramam Prasute. Such people attain to the Paramam. The Paramam is the highest understanding, the greatest spiritual understanding. Sulabham. They attain to that. Sulabham Prasute. Parartha Sulabham Prasute. They attain to that highest understanding. Prasute means to obtain. They will obtain that highest understanding, Sulabham, very easily. So, Itham Vrishachalapate Iha Suprabhatam. ye manava pratidinam patitum pravrittaha tesham prabhata samaye smritiranga bhajam prajnam parartha sulabham paramam prasute. So, what is our takeaway from Venkateswara Suprabhatam? Is that if your mornings are glorious, which who makes it? Smriti Ranga Bhajam. Smritihi Anga Bhajam. I worship with my mind and with my body in the morning. When I consciously do that, then my whole day is beautiful. And my whole day and night till I go back to bed, it becomes auspicious. So the Suprabhatam is essentially to wake up, and it's also, as we spoke at the introduction, it is a way of waking ourselves up. Not, we said this, not getting up, but waking up. Getting up physically, you may get up, but waking up is important. Waking up means waking up to understanding, waking up to these truths of life, that I am one, we are all one. There is this, there is oneness that is there in experience. And what is my highest good? Do I have to keep running behind things? Do I have to run behind experiences? Do I have to run behind people? Do I have to run behind money? Do I have to run behind opportunities? I have to do all that is required transactionally. But do I have to run? Do I have to lose sleep over these things? These are questions that we ask ourselves through this process. So when you get up in the morning, imagine you get up in the morning and you do some amount of Vedanta Vichara. How do you think your day will be? It'll be so beautiful, right? Instead of getting up to an alarm, ayyo, now I have to rush, I have to go take a train, take a bus, I have to go, drive down, all of that. Instead of getting into that, jumping into the next activity, if I settle myself and think, give myself a little bit time early in the morning. The Suprabhatam is only 11 minutes anyways. As a practice, we can all play it in the morning nicely, 11 minutes. Of course, the whole thing is 25, 30 minutes. But just the first part, Suprabhatam, that we all discussed for the last several weeks, that's about 11 minutes. And then we keep processing this every day. I get up in the morning and I say, and each morning we may get up with a different feeling. Suddenly in the morning, we may feel devotion in the morning. Sometimes we may feel very dry and close, and we just, you don't feel devotion, but then your mind is analyzing and thinking and processing. But always remember, when your mind is analyzing, thinking, and processing, move it in the right direction. Give it the right intention to think. Otherwise, it can keep thinking all sorts of things. If you don't give it an anchor to think, if you don't tie it to some, at the end of the day, this is important. At the end of the day, what is most important for me? Is my thinking going in that direction? So I guide and direct. If I do that, which is why we have these imageries, great Venkateswara there, you get up in the morning, you see that, or Ambal, or whoever you see that, and you fill your mind with some kind of joy, some kind of devotion. There is someone to take care of me. And you also submit yourself. You say, this understanding that I'm seeking also, oh Bhagavan, you give me. எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே புரியல. ஐம் கெட்டிங் அப் இந்த மார்னிங், ஒரே கன்ஃபியூஸ்டா இருக்கு. மண்டை குழம்புது, என்னென்னமோ 1000 10 பேர் 10 விஷயம் சொல்லியிருக்கா அப்படிங்கிறது. We get up sometimes like that, right? And also YouTube, we listen to so many different things, and so many different people are saying so many different things. we get up more confused than wise, right? Suddenly somebody is saying, oh, this year Shani Bhagavan is this thing. Somebody will say, oh, now Bhairava is this thing. So somebody will say, in the next 3 weeks, you have to focus on this thing. Confusion. And then India, we have the TV channel, you put, oh, today's color is this. Oh, today your Rasi is this. Finished. Each morning we are confused. Every morning we are confused. So go submit that confusion also to him. Because understand, we are seeking that highest truth, highest understanding, that highest joy and bliss in which these Mahatmas have lived. Prativadi Bhayankaramanna, Manavala Mamunigal, Kulasekara Alvar. So many of these Mahangals, Ramanujacharya, Adi Shankara, Buddha, Mahavira. All of these people have lived in a joy and bliss, right? These are only names we know. These are the popular ones, like the movie stars, right? But there are so many people who have attained to this understanding, so many Atmas. They are not popular. Not the, so you have to understand, not the popular ones are not the only realized beings. There are many, many, many realized beings. They may be walking around. We wouldn't know. We can be one of them. That's the important thing to know. We don't have to be a superstar of spiritual realization. Right? TV serial ஏதோ ஆக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு போயிட்டு இருந்தா கூட போறோம் நமக்கு. அது மாதிரி. That fulfillment, if you get, that is all that is required. Right? So with this, we will close the Venkateswara Suprabhatam with this week. And then I was thinking, we've got the yatra going on. So the yatra is on the 14th. I was thinking it'll be good for us to take a few weeks break, Saturday mornings, introspect. Let's use Saturday mornings this time to play Suprabhatam, go through this, maybe play the videos. I'll also do that. I'll also play these videos and listen to them again because a lot of times reinforcement, our own ideas, our own thoughts, we reinforce again and again. It's important to keep or stay in this kind of a way of thinking, in this way of the way we perceive. Slowly our perception will refine and it'll change and become beautiful. So we do that for the next 2-3 weeks, and then we will connect possibly on the see, next week is 1st June, the week after is 8th June, the week after that is 15th June. Right, 15th June we'll be in the yatra, and then maybe 22nd June we can Saturday mornings. Of course, we are meeting on Friday evenings, Thursdays, and all that. It's not that we are not going to meet. But the Saturday morning session, I'm saying, we will resume it possibly on 22nd June. And I was thinking if we will start doing Purusha Suktam, if there is interest, we will start looking at the meanings, because a lot of Vedic chants we don't hear too many meanings being explained or all of that. So it will be beautiful, and Vedic chants are ancient, so it's very beautiful to look at those ancient works and try to understand how the same truth is presented there, right? And what I'll also do is probably post the Purusha Suktam chant in the group, and then that way we will listen to that for a couple of weeks, and we will try to start from there. Okay.
Text கூட அதனால போயிருக்கு கொடுத்துருங்க.
Next Purusha Suktam irukku. I have put this thing with the meanings.
Last யாத்திரால போட்டிருந்தீங்கல்ல? Yeah. நம்ம
Purusha Suktam போட்டிருந்தோமா?
இதுக்கு கேதார் பத்ரி போகும்போது போட்டிருந்தாங்க.
அது வெறும் டெக்ஸ்ட் இருந்தது. I have actually put one with the meanings. I will share that in the group. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Shri Akantaya Kalyana Nidhiyethinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikayeti Samarpayami Satgurunathayeti Samarpayami. Hari Om Tat Sat Gurubhyo Namah. Thank you. Through Balaji's, not Balaji's grace, நம்ம வந்து Venkateswara Suprabhatam we were able to.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Balaji அப்படியே நம்ம ராமரையும் கிருஷ்ணரையும்
ஆமா, ராமர் கிருஷ்ணர் எல்லாரையும் காமிச்சு யாத்திரால அழகா அழிச்சுன்னு வரட்டும் அவரு. வெரி நைஸ், வெரி பியூட்டிஃபுல், வெரி பியூட்டிஃபுல். நடக்கட்டும் நல்லபடியா. ஹரி ஓம்.
Thank you.
நமஸ்காரம்.